In today's video, I want to show you the top 5 worst foods for people over the age of 40 and what to eat instead. If you're trying to stay lean, improve your health, and reduce inflammation and also live longer, then you want to avoid these foods. I've trained thousands of clients in this age group, from parents to CEOs to former athletes, and these foods are the ones that cause the most problems, even in people who think they're eating a healthy diet. So here are the 5 foods I would avoid and what I would replace them with instead. And number 3 is the one that most people actually think is healthy, but it's actually shown to make you age faster. Now, before getting into this video, I need to add some important context. And if you don't like the context, you should just skip over this part. The truth is, there are no good or bad foods in isolation. It always depends on who is eating them and what that person's goals are. If someone is metabolically healthy, then they can get away with having a portion of their calories coming from these foods I'm about to talk about. On the other hand, if someone is metabolically unhealthy, which 88% of the population is, these foods carry a greater cost in terms of increased energy expenditure, deterioration in health, worsening insulin sensitivity, and higher blood sugar levels. Another layer to add is insulin resistance. So the more insulin resistant a body is, the less it will bounce back the same way it would if someone were actually insulin sensitive. Prioritizing foods that are anti-inflammatory and nutrient dense offer a way better cost to benefit ratio, and it's going to help you maintain a good level of health for the rest of your life, which is the secret to getting results. That said, I want to just point out there that I don't think your diet needs to be perfect in order for you to be healthy. These foods are what I would call the eat way less often, or in the worst case, avoid, because for the vast majority of people who are metabolically unhealthy and also insulin resistant, they're just not worth the risk of putting into your body. This is especially when there are smarter and safer alternatives that deliver much more benefit. So with all that being said, the first food to avoid if you're over the age of 40 is sugary drinks and alcohol. When you drink sodas, energy drinks, sweetened juices, or even flavored coffees, the sugar hits your bloodstream super fast. Your pancreas fires insulin, and if your cells are already a little bit resistant, which again, most people are by the time they reach the age of 40, the sugar goes straight to storage, specifically in visceral fat. And this is the fat that wraps around your organs and drives metabolic decline, and the fructose in these drinks go directly to your liver. And it's not like glucose where your muscles can help process it. It's all on the liver to process, which is why people who don't eat that badly but drink a lot of soda still end up with fatty liver markers in their blood work. Now, alcohol is the same story except worse. When you drink alcohol, your body literally stops everything else it's doing to remove it. I'm talking about fat burning, protein synthesis, all of it. And the reason is your liver treats it like a toxin because it is one. Whatever else you ate that day, it goes into storage while your body's dealing with the drink that you had. And when you wake up the next morning, your sleep quality is worse, your cortisol is elevated, your recovery sucks, and you're also slightly dehydrated. And for some reason, you want to have pancakes and a breakfast sandwich at 9 a.m. in the morning. That is a sign that your biology is working against you. So what do I recommend for, say, sugary drinks instead? It's simple. Still or sparkling water. Instead of energy drinks, I would use unsweetened green tea and black coffee without the syrups. If you genuinely want some sweetness, you can add a splash of 100% fruit juice into your sparkling water or a zero sugar electrolyte mix. For your coffees, I prefer to use a sweetener called monk fruit. It is a natural 0-calorie, 0-carb sweetener that does not spike your blood sugar. It has antioxidant properties and also lacks the known side effects and metabolic downsides of sugar and a lot of artificial sweeteners. Now for alcohol, I'm actually drinking this one drink and it is amazing. And I call it the sober margarita, or it is something the Mexicans call the suero. And it's 3 ingredients. It's sparkling water, it's fresh lime juice, and sea salt on the rim of the glass. And if you want a bit of sweetness, add a teaspoon of raw honey. That's it. The sparkling water keeps you full and actually aids digestion. The lime juice supports your liver, and the sea salt restores your electrolytes and also improves hydration. And the raw honey adds a small amount of antioxidants, enzymes, and minerals that make the drink more satisfying rather than using refined sugar. It's zero alcohol, it tastes like a margarita, and honestly, once you've had a few, you don't even miss the tequila. Maybe. All right, food number 2 is my favorite, and I hate to say this, but it is fried foods. We're talking about French fries, fried chicken, donuts, anything that's coming out of a deep fryer. And I'll be the first to admit, fried food tastes f***ing incredible, and I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. But let me tell you what's happening in that fryer. When you cook starchy foods at a very high heat, whether it comes to fries, chips, or anything like that, a compound called acrylamide forms. It's a byproduct of the Maillard reaction at high temperatures, and acrylamide is a known neurotoxin and probable carcinogen. Then there's the oil itself. So most commercial frying is done in refined seed oils, canola, soybean, and sunflower, and these are already highly processed before they even touch the fryer. And heating these to high temperatures creates trans fats and oxidized lipids that raise LDL cholesterol and drive systemic inflammation. And after 40, fried foods are calorie dense in the way your body struggles to regulate. The combinations of fat and starch in that format suppresses the hormones that tell you that you're full, which is why nobody is able to sit down and just eat one chip. Now, you don't have to give up crispy food, you just have to cook it differently. An air fryer or oven with olive oil can get you 90% of the texture at about 20% of the damage. And I talked about the air fryer over here in my top purchases of 2025, and it's been a revelation. Oven baked or air fried potatoes with a little olive oil and sea salt is actually tasty. Cooking chicken thighs with the skin on in an air fryer actually makes it crispy on the outside and juicy on the inside. I've roasted broccoli and cauliflower along with olive oil and spices, and they get better with high dry heat, not worse. And something you have to realize about fried foods is that the problem is not necessarily the category, it's how it is cooked in the first place. And by the way, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that you can actually get away with a lot more by getting your body metabolically healthy. And I create a free guide that shows you the protocol we use to get our clients insulin sensitive and metabolically healthy. Subscribe to this channel and comment healthy below and I'll send it to you. Number 3 is one that not a lot of people are going to be happy about, and it is processed meats. I'm talking bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, pepperoni, the stuff that makes every breakfast and every sandwich taste amazing.
So good and tasty?
Now, here is the problem. They are loaded with sodium, saturated fat, and nitrates, which are preservatives used to extend shelf life and enhance the color. And the research on nitrates and cancer risk, particularly colorectal cancer, is not ambiguous. The WHO classified processed meats as a group 1 carcinogen back in 2015. And that's in the same category as cigarettes in terms of certainty of the link. And we have to realize that these foods are pro-inflammatory. The sodium levels affect your blood pressure. The saturated fat combination with the nitrates creates an environment in your body that promotes exactly the kind of visceral fat accumulation we're trying to avoid. Now, I've had clients come to me who are pretty proud of their diet, and they say, "Hey Dan, I'm eating healthy and I'm eating clean," but every morning it was bacon and eggs, and every lunch was a deli meat sandwich. They couldn't figure out why their blood pressure was creeping up and why their inflammation markers were still off. And I had to tell them it's not the eggs, it's what's sitting beside them. Now, the fix here is easy because you're not cutting protein, you're just switching the source. We're looking for unprocessed meats, ground beef, chicken, fatty fish, even white fish. These give you everything you need from protein, healthy fats, and satisfaction without the nitrates or the sodium load. And by the way, one of the healthiest sleeper foods on the planet is canned sardines and olive oil. These guys are high in protein, rich in omega-3s, they're anti-inflammatory, they're also cheap, and you can get them ready in about 30 seconds. Sardines are specifically one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, especially for people over the age of 40. Now, number 4 might be something that surprises you because it doesn't really look dangerous, and it's refined carbohydrates. I'm talking about white bread, pastries, instant oatmeal, and most cereals, even the ones with the health claims on the box. And the problem is most of these carbs have been stripped of their fiber. Fiber is what slows digestion down, moderates blood sugar. It actually helps with LDL cholesterol, and it also keeps you full. Without it, these foods hit your bloodstream almost as fast as pure sugar. And this is going to cause your insulin to spike, which is also going to cause your insulin to crash as well. And that crash, the one that usually hits around 3 p.m., is not you being tired because you're busy. It's a biological response to the blood sugar roller coaster you just put it on. Over time, this pattern drives insulin resistance, which is the foundation of visceral fat accumulation. There's also a lot of new research connecting highly refined diets to biological aging. Your actual cellular age is not just a number on your driver's license. I've had clients who were doing everything right in the gym and they couldn't figure out why they weren't leaning out. So we'd look at their food logs, and breakfast was instant oatmeal with a glass of OJ and toast. And lunch was a wrap and dinner was pasta. And a lot of people think that this is all healthy on the surface, but every meal was a blood sugar spike without enough fiber. Now, instead, we want to swap the refined carbs for their whole food equivalents. This means eating oats instead of instant cereal, quinoa, barley, even sourdough bread, because the sourdough fermentation actually lowers the glycemic load compared to regular bread. For snacks, we're looking at fruits, nuts, Greek yogurt with berries, hummus with carrots or even peppers. It's these combinations that give you the carbohydrates along with fiber and protein, which completely changes how your body handles the sugar load. And it's not like you're giving up carbs, you're just choosing the ones that work with your metabolism instead. Now, the final food ties everything together, and it is ultra-processed snacks and fast foods. This includes packaged chips, cookies, crackers, and even protein bars with those mile-long ingredient lists and almost every single fast food chain you can think of. Now, the most surprising thing about this particular category is the fact that studies have started to link ultra-processed food consumption to faster biological aging, independent of calorie intake. This means that it's not just the foods that make you fat, it's the combination of the additives, the emulsifiers, the artificial colorings, the industrial seed oils. All of these appear to accelerate aging markers at the cellular level, even when calories are the same as a whole food diet. One study actually tracked adults over several years and found that high ultra processed food consumption was associated with shorter telomere length. So, telomeres are these caps that are at the end of your chromosomes, and when they shorten, your cells age faster and die sooner. And when you add in the hidden sugars, which manufacturers are really good at hiding, you have something that's spiking your blood sugar, driving inflammation, and speeding up your biological clock. Now, what I'm saying is that you can never have a cookie because that's not realistic for a lot of people, and I love cookies.
Cookie!
What I am saying is that we need to make these snacks the rare exception, not the daily default, and the replacements are genuinely satisfying. We're talking about a handful of almonds, walnuts, or pistachios plus a piece of fruit. That's a snack that takes about 10 seconds to grab. It hits protein, healthy fats, fiber, and micronutrients simultaneously. One of my favorites is plain Greek yogurt with berries with a little extra chia seed or even psyllium husk and cinnamon. And again, sliced veggies with guacamole or hummus. These are foods that are going to keep you full while keeping your blood sugar stable. Now, let me be clear about one thing, is that there are no good or bad foods, but foods become a problem when you eat them in excess, especially as a default, and especially when your body's tolerance for processing them has changed. And that's the thing after 40, the rules shift. You just can't eat the same way you did when you were 20 years old. Your insulin gets affected more, your body's inflammatory response takes longer to resolve, and the foods you were basically free to eat when you were 25 now carry a heavier cost. Now, the goal, again, is not to eat perfectly. The goal is to get your body as metabolically healthy as possible, because this is going to amplify your ability to even take in these foods as an exception. And the way to do that is to make small, sustainable swaps that stack up over months and years. And these 5 changes that I just listed, when done consistently, will do more for your energy, your body composition, and your long-term health than anything else you can add to your routine. And after 40, what you put into your body matters now more than it ever did before. And again, I create a free guide on the protocol we use to help our clients get metabolically healthy. Subscribe to the channel and comment healthy, and I'll send it to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.